Frederick Douglass, 1818–1895, was one of the most prominent leaders in the abolitionist movement in the United States. Born as a slave in Maryland, he endured harsh conditions early in his life, but his determination to achieve liberation and success led him to become one of the greatest voices defending human rights. Life story of Frederick Douglass, birth and slavery. Frederick Douglass was born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey in 1818 on a farm in Maryland. His parents were slaves, and Frederick lived under a system of slavery that imposed on him a harsh and rightless life. Education and liberation. Despite the ban on education for slaves, Douglass learned to read and write with the help of a woman named Sophie Antin in his master's house. Using his educational skills helped him understand the concept of freedom and fight for it. At the age of 20, Douglass decided to escape slavery. He managed to escape north, where he lived in Boston and then New York, and began a new life as a free man. Working as an activist, Douglass became a prominent activist in the abolitionist movement, giving speeches and participating in debates to highlight the cruelty of slavery and the importance of freeing slaves. He also wrote his memoirs, which he published under the title, The Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, which became widely known. Writing and publishing in 1845, Douglass published his memoirs, which greatly influenced public opinion in the United States, detailing the graphic details of slavery and his personal experiences. Government work in recent years. After the abolition of slavery, Douglass continued to work on issues of human rights and equality. He held several government positions, including Colorado Law Commissioner. He continued to advocate for women's rights and the rights of blacks until his death in 1895. Frederick Douglass was not just a historical figure, he was a symbol of courage in the struggle for justice. The struggle to abolish slavery. Douglass was one of the founders of the Massachusetts Abolitionist Society and participated in many campaigns and activities that aimed to end slavery in the United States. He founded Al-Najah newspaper, the North Star, in 1847, which was an important platform for disseminating anti-slavery ideas and promoting human rights issues. Working for women's rights, Douglass was also an advocate for women's rights and participated in the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, the first women's rights convention in the United States. He strongly supported women's rights to vote and participate in public life. Writing and publishing, Douglass wrote 3 major books of memoirs: The Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, 1845, The Life of Frederick Douglass, Renewals, 1855, and The Life of Frederick Douglass, A Further Elaboration, 1881. These books provide a deep and comprehensive insight into his experiences and situations. Life after the Civil War. After the American Civil War, Douglass continued his work as a social activist. He toured the world lecturing on civil and social rights issues, helping to spread human rights issues beyond the United States. Impact and legacy. His writings and speeches greatly influenced the civil rights and anti-racism movements in the United States. He had a long-lasting impact on social justice and civil rights issues. Douglass is considered a symbol of solid will and courage in the face of challenges and injustice, and has become an inspiration to many in their struggle for freedom and justice. Frederick Douglass remains one of the most prominent figures in American history, known for his great efforts in the human rights struggle and changing American society. Childhood and upbringing. Frederick Douglass was born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey on the Aldrich family farm in Maryland. His mother died when he was young, leaving him to live with his grandmother on another farm. At the age of 7, he was sent to the home of a new owner in Baltimore, where he learned to read and write thanks to the attention of his owner's wife. Escape from slavery. In 1838, Douglass escaped slavery using forged papers, posing as a sailor. He settled in New Bedford, Massachusetts, where he began his new life as a free man, working with the abolitionist movement. After his escape, Douglass began speaking at abolitionist meetings, drawing attention with his rhetorical style and passionate expression of the suffering of slaves. His speeches attracted great attention, and people started inviting him to give lectures in different parts of the country. The struggle with literary ownership. After publishing his first book, Douglass faced copyright challenges. It was necessary for him to avoid